morning, everybody. I'm Cordero. It's really great to meet you guys. God's blessed me with another day of life, another breath. I'm actually on my way to Indiana right now. I've never been there. My cousin's waiting on me, and the only reason I was able to make it is because of God. I just recently went through a lot of heartache, a lot of trauma, dealing with a broken heart. I was left homeless and nowhere to go and nowhere to turn and no one to turn to. And I was using drugs really heavily, as much as I could get my hand on. I felt like I had to have it. I felt like I needed drugs in my life every day on a daily basis, and it tore me down. It made me live in a shadow that I was even scared to come out of. But God gave me strength, God gave me strength to choose better for my life. And I decided to go to a treatment center here in Riverview, Florida, a place called River Oaks. I've been there before about a year ago, actually a year ago exactly. And I chose to go back to this place because my first experience with it was absolutely amazing. The people there were so positive to me. They lifted my spirit up so much that I wanted to be in that environment again. And so I chose to go back to River Oaks to seek treatment for substance abuse.
Stay in the second lane from left.
And
in 1 mile, keep right to merge onto I-75 north.
I was 5 days from completion of the program, and I was dealing with a lot. I was dealing with high anxiety from not knowing where I was going to go whenever I completed the program, and my case manager that was supposed to have something lined up for me, her caseload was so large that it was hard for her to find time to figure out my situation or figure out what I was going to do, my plan, my next step in the program. So I took it upon myself that I had to do it. I had to do it myself. If I didn't do it myself, nobody was going to do it for me. So I searched for a PHP program, which is an extension of rehab, and I did that instead of going to group, and they decided that was enough reason to discharge me from the program. And so they kind of just dropped me on a gas station just down the road from the facility, and I didn't know what I was going to do, where I was going to go. I had no money. I was carrying 2 bags that were loaded down with my stuff and my clothes. So I picked what I had. I picked the stuff that I didn't feel like I wanted to part with, and left the rest underneath the bushes. And I probably walked up and down the road all day long. It had to have been at least 15 miles just up and down the road, stressing, worrying, not trusting God. I kept trying to tell myself, it's all right, God's got me, God's got me, God's got me. I'm doing the right thing, I'm changing my life. So I found a Publix where I could use Wi-Fi, so I kept going back and forth to the Publix so that they didn't think that, or run me off for loitering, or think that I was trying to do or steal or something. I'm used to people looking at me like that in a kind of way that I'm where they just expect me to do wrong. And this guy come up to me, and he had just bought some lottery tickets, and he was smiling real big, and he said, "Oh, I feel good about this. I probably have a winner." And I said, "You know what? Why not? God's good. Why wouldn't you? You probably got a winner. God's good every day." And I just kept praising God, because I knew, to everybody, God's good, not just to me, but to everybody, to each and every one of us. And I'm in a situation where you would think, why would you praise God right now? You're literally on the street. You got nowhere to go and no one willing to help. And I was racking my brain. What do I do? And I kept asking God, you know what, please just give me wisdom. And he told me, I spoke to my dad, and my dad was unable to help me. You know, he's in old age now, and he's on a fixed income, and he didn't have gas to come and get me. And even if he had gas to come and get me all the way in Tampa, I live in Okeechobee, where was I gonna go? I was homeless in Okeechobee before I left. That's why I went to the program, to get my life straight. So even then I felt hopeless. I felt in despair, like, God, you're literally giving me no options. God, like, what do I do? So anyway, this guy bought the lottery tickets, and I told him that, you know, God's good. You're probably gonna win. I sung his praises no matter what. And to my astonishment, he said, you know, I'm a taxi driver, right? And I said, are you serious? Because my uncle, because I'm skipping a lot, I'm sorry. So I spoke to my dad, and he suggested that I speak to his brother and ask his brother for help. And I used to work for his brother up in North Carolina, and I kind of left on bad terms with him. And I was ashamed. I was like, nah, Dad, if I call my Tío Chilo, he's not gonna really want to help me, you know, because we weren't on good terms. And my dad said, you know, you never know, man. Just talk to him. Tell him what's going on. So I call my uncle and I tell him and what's going on. He was real skeptical at first, and I said, well, I just got off the phone with my dad and I talked to him, and luckily, now it's actually not luck. Thank God that he put it on my heart to call my dad while I was in the program, because me and my dad weren't even speaking. My dad didn't even know where I was. I called my dad while in rehab, and I told him, I said, Dad, I'm here in rehab. I'm getting clean, and thank God, all glory be to God. I have 26 days clean now, and I feel great. But anyway, if it wasn't for God putting it on my heart to speak to my dad, and my dad wouldn't even have known I was in rehab. So if I would have found myself in the situation that I was in without him speaking to my dad first, then anyway, it just goes to show how good God is to you every day. God makes sure you're all right. He's never gonna let you down. Like, I never would have thought that calling my dad while I was in substance abuse treatment was gonna help me this day that I'm speaking about. But anyway, so I spoke to my dad while I was in there, and I told him, I was like, man, I was so happy about doing good, and I was excited about the future, that I was going to get back in touch with my daughter, and all these good things were going to happen. And then I got discharged, discharged due to my own actions, you know. And I'm thinking, man, here I go again, messing up my life. So like I said, I got discharged, and they left me at the gas station. And I met the guy with the lottery tickets. And he said, I'll help you. My uncle ended up sending me $200 to get a bus ticket to go to my cousin's house in Indiana, which is, I'm on my way right now to Indiana. Like, thank God. Because my cousin said, I want you up here with me. I want you to come stay with me. I have a spare bedroom. She said, there's plenty of work in Indiana for me. So I'll definitely be in touch with you guys and let you know how this goes. But anyway, back to my story. So I get the $200 from Western Union, and then I meet this guy with lottery tickets, and he says, man, I'll help you, bro. He said, God's been good to me too. I'll help you out. I'll give you a ride to Tampa. Because I didn't know how I was going to get from Riverview to Tampa. It's like a 35-minute drive. And I was like, oh man, that's God answering my prayers. I got a ride. So he says, well, come on, if you're ready to go, let's go. And I said, well, I got a bag of clothes that I left under the bushes. Let me go grab them real quick. So I run over here and I grab this bag of clothes, and I set my phone down on a wall. And I grab my bag of clothes, and I grab my other book bag and put them on my back, and I go to back walking towards the Publix where I met this guy to meet him so I can get a ride to Tampa to the bus station. And I get, I don't know, maybe like walking like half a block seems like forever in the heat, but I get a little bit down the road and I'm like, oh man, I forgot my phone. And I'm like, God, this guy's gonna leave me. He's gonna think I was joking, or he's gonna think I wasn't serious. And so I turn around and I run back to get my phone, and I was cussing. I was like, man, damn it, damn this and damn that. But something washed over me and said, I had to tell myself, well, God had to tell me everything happens for a reason. And so I said it out loud. You know what? Cord, everything happens for a reason. And when I said that to myself, I was like, I knew it was going to be okay. I knew it was going to be okay. So I was like, something's going to happen where he was held up a little bit, or if I would have got back to the Publix, that just those couple minutes earlier that it took me to go get my phone, I was gonna miss the ride or something. Everything happens for a reason. God's good. So I'm singing God's praises no matter what. Even in this time, I'm like, oh man, I don't know what to do, you know. And it's important to me because, like I said, I have nowhere to go. I had no one. So I'm making sure I don't get it wrong this time. And as I'm walking back up I go back get my phone. As I'm walking back up to the Publix, I see this guy, Jeremy, and he's sitting in a wheelchair. And I think to myself, man, look at this guy, you know, poor guy, he's in a wheelchair, man. I wanted to make him laugh. You know, that's a trait about me. I love making people laugh, especially when I feel like they're in places in life where they don't got no reason to laugh or smile. So I stopped and I said, hey bro, let me borrow your chair. Let me borrow your chair, I'm tired. And Jeremy looks at me and he says, well, I'm hurt. And I stopped dead in my tracks. And I introduced myself, and Jeremy right away goes to singing praises to God. And I was like, what? And it made me know that I was on the right path. God was telling me, you're here, you're where you're supposed to be. You're here, you're where you're supposed to be. And like this feeling of relief kind of rushed over me, and I'm like, oh man. Like, it's so good when God like talks to you directly and tells you like you're okay, you know, in little ways like that. It's so good. So I'm not really thinking much of it, you know. I'm like, it's just God showing me that I'm on the right path. But it was more than that. So Jeremy starts singing God's praises and telling me how good God is, and telling me that, you know, God's given me the power to be happy and to come out here and sing his praises to people that are struggling or looking like maybe they're deep in sin and they need it. And I thought to myself, man, that's such a great thing, you know. It's such a great thing. This guy's in a wheelchair, and yet he's out here singing God's praises to people. And I'm like, and I'm complaining about my situation, you know, and this guy's out here like trying to bring people to the Spirit, trying to put the Spirit in people, trying to help them see that God loves them. And I'm thinking like, man, if that's not power, if that's not the power of God, I don't know what is. Anyway, we got to talking, and then Jeremy started saying specific things that really spoke to me that had just happened recently. He got to saying, you know, talking about bad spirits and even witchcraft and people, you know, leaving bad spirits on you. And it just so happened that a couple days before, while I was in the program, I come outside in the morning because I had bad dreams, and that was my thought that morning, that my ex-love had like left some kind of bad spirit on me because I kept having terrible dreams about her, and I didn't know why. So I was like, so I come outside in the morning at the facility while I was still there, and I was telling these guys, man, you guys believe in witchcraft? And anyway, that's another story. But Jeremy was speaking directly to me. I knew it in my heart. God was working through Jeremy to speak directly to me, and I felt like, oh man, this is so great. Like, if people just knew how great this felt, you know, then everybody would know the love of God. And I was like, man, Jeremy, you don't even know how much you're talking to me. And the whole time me and Jeremy are talking, and I'm just so amazed by the things that he's saying. Like, he's speaking directly to my heart. I'm just so amazed by it. And then, so anyway, the guy that I met with the lottery tickets pulls up in his vehicle waiting on me to give me a ride to the Tampa bus station to get me to Indiana. And he beeps the horn, and like it was almost like he was kind of like rushing me, like, hey, let's go, I've been waiting on you. And I was thinking, oh man. So I hurried up and tried to finish, but Jeremy prayed over me before that. But anyway, I hurried up and tried to finish the conversation with Jeremy so I could go. And I felt like I was being rushed off, and I didn't like it. Or there was a feeling that I had inside of me, I didn't like it. And the guy told beforehand and told me, man, if you just give me the gas money to cover gas, I'll take you to the bus station. I was like, man, that's such a blessing, because all I have is enough for my bus ticket, you know, aside from the gas money. That's all I have. And so I get in, I put my stuff in the guy's car, and I get in the front seat with him, and he said, well, go ahead and give me my $20 for gas right now. You know, I'm thinking, okay, he doesn't know me, that's normal, he doesn't trust me. And then I was about to hand him a $20 bill, and he said, when we get to the bus station, it's gonna be $100 more. And I said, whoa. I said, I can't give you another $100, brother. That's why we just talked about this, man. I don't have the money. That's all I have is enough for my bus ticket. And he said, well, what do you expect? I'm a taxi, you know, like it's $100 for the trip, and then $20 for the gas. And I'm like, well, dang, man, that's not really helping me, you know. Like, that's hurting me. And when I realized that he was hurting me instead of helping me, God spoke to me through that, and he said, it was like him saying, get out of the car. So I was like, you know what? It's fine, brother. I understand your situation. I know everybody's got their own problems, and I know you're trying to make money, you know, taxiing people. I was like, I'm sorry for the misunderstanding, but I'll give you a $10 bill, you know, just because you did come back and you made sure you were here to try and give me a ride, and we just misunderstood each other, which I don't think it was a misunderstanding. I think that, you know, it might have been him trying to hustle me, which it was, but that's besides the point. But I didn't even want to leave anyway, because I met Jeremy, and I was like, man, I wanted to keep on talking to Jeremy. I wanted to keep on talking to him. And so I got out of the car, and it was weird because I went to go open the door, and the door wouldn't open. He said, oh, I have to let you out. And I was like, whoa. I felt really weird then. I was like, whoa. So that was another sign, God telling me, you ain't supposed to be here, bro. You're not supposed to be here, brother. You're making the right choice. Get out of this car. So long story short, the guy come around and opened the door for me, and so when he opened the door, my bags were in the back. So I went ahead and reached around and grabbed my bags, thinking he's already tried to, you know, get me once. You know, I'm gonna go ahead and grab my stuff. I'm gonna give him this $10, but I'm not gonna let him get my stuff, because I felt like that might have been what he tried to do. And he didn't know that I grabbed the bag. So when I got out of the car, I went to go inside to Publix to break a $20 bill to give him $10. He said, I'll hold your bags while you go in there and get the change to break the 20. And I was like, no, that's all right. He's like, oh, you already got them. And I was like, yeah, you know, I got my bags. I'm about to go here. He was gonna try, I feel like maybe he was gonna try and steal my things, not knowing what I had. I could have had something valuable, which I don't have anything valuable. It's just personal products, hygiene and stuff. Maybe my laptop. Well, that thing ain't worth much either. But anyway, I didn't want to go anyway. I wanted to stay and talk to Jeremy, and so anyway, God got me out of that situation. And I told Jeremy, I said, Jeremy, I was like, God didn't want me in that car, brother. God did not want me in that car. He's like, what do you mean? He was gonna give you a ride? I said, no, bro. I'm telling you, I think he was trying to hurt me. He wasn't trying to help me. And Jeremy said, well, I'm glad you got out of that car, man. And he said, because I wanted to keep on talking to you. And I was like, I wanted to keep on talking to you. So, man, we talk into the night. We stay there probably till, what time was it, Jeremy? Probably, what?
11:30.
11:30? No, it was late. Yeah, probably about 11:30. Where we just talking, and then Jeremy said, well, what are you gonna do tonight? And I said, well, you know, God's good, brother. God's good. I'll be fine. God's good. I'm not worried about nothing. He said, oh man, he said, I ain't gonna leave you out here and sleeping on the sidewalk. He said, come on, man. Now mind you, Jeremy's in a wheelchair. He can't walk. His legs ain't working. His legs don't work. but he's blessed. Because by the strength of that wheelchair, I stopped dead in my tracks to tell him a joke to try and make him smile.
Continuing with drive.
And so I go back to his house with him, man. I'm thinking, oh man, maybe, you know, this guy might be weird because he's singing God's praises the whole time, you know. But I didn't feel weird. You know, the thought crossed my mind, but I didn't feel weird. So I knew, I was like, God's got me where, I was like, God got me in the right direction. God's not going to lead me wrong. He ain't never steered me wrong before. Why would he start now? And anyway, so, you know, we get to Jeremy's house, and Jeremy's telling me, oh, you know, he's telling me about this. He lets me meet his girlfriend Michelle, and she gets on the phone, and man, we just start talking about all kinds of like real stuff, and really just like. Oh, and I forgot to mention Sam, Jeremy. I forgot to mention that whole thing, but because that's a long story. But like in my moment of desperation and not knowing what I was gonna do, where I was gonna go, who I was gonna turn to, Jeremy come through for me, and because God put it on his heart. But I mean, that's the power of God. Like, you don't, when you're in your moments of desperation, huh? I got you.
I have directions. I don't know if I'm going the right place. Keep going. You're okay.
But in your moments of desperation, and you not having no options, nowhere to go, nowhere to turn, don't worry, because God's got you. Right here, green light. Because God's got you. He ain't gonna let you down. Hit the brake.
Starting route to Tampa bus station. Head north on North Florida Avenue.
God's got you. Jeremy's over here driving with no legs. He's got a brake and a gas that he works with one arm. He works the steering wheel with the other. It's so and that's what I'm saying. This man right here is a living testimony. He is a living testimony. Even with no legs, there's a way. There's always a way. He's driving me to the bus stop right now to make sure I get to Indiana. This God bless him all. May God bless him all the days of his life. He literally has no use of his legs, and he's driving me. And I'm this big, strong, guy. He's there for me. And I couldn't be any more happy with how things turned out. I was like, what was I, $20 short, Jeremy?
Yep.
$20 short, and he said, don't worry about it, brother, I'm gonna bless you. He said, don't worry about it, I'm gonna bless you. He said, I'm gonna make sure you got the extra, the other $20 you need to get this bus ticket. And we're like, literally, we're pushing it because the bus leaves at what time?
We're about to get there 11:10.
We're 6 minutes late, 7 minutes late. So, but I'm not worried. God's good. We've already paid for the bus ticket, but we're 6 minutes late. But I'm not worried. I know God's good. I know that whatever happens, the bus is gonna be there. Or even if it's not, even if that bus isn't there, God keeps on showing me that it's all right. God's good. God's good to his people, so don't worry. I want to stay on the phone and keep on videoing to see if I make the bus to let you guys know, but
We'll make a part two.
We'll let you know. That's the excitement of it. That's the excitement of it. God's so beautiful, man, and I want you to know that all of you are God's children. You're blessed, and you will stay blessed for the days of your life. All you have to do is have faith and know that God, no matter what, will not pull his hand off of you. God is watching over you, and he loves you, and you will not falter. As long as you have God in your life, you will not falter. Hallelujah. I love you guys, and it's been great to tell you about this little story. This is just a small little one day of my life. That was just one day. Me and Jeremy are going to put together some more of these testimonies of mine. He loves my testimony, and I got many more to give, and I got a lot of hope to give for people because I'm still on my journey. I'm about to go to Indiana, and I'm praying God's always watching over me, and I know he is. I have faith that I stand in thanksgiving. I stand in thanksgiving that God's watching over me and he'll make sure I get on the right path. So God bless you, Jeremy.
Thank you, bro. Jesus.
That's Jeremy Speaks right
I always
there.
want to tear up for this.
That's Jeremy Speaks.
You did this for me.
I love you guys. You'll see me soon. You'll see me again.